everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today we're going to tell you the 5 things that we learned while traveling in Mexico for 3 months.
You're gonna see in our next videos, we'll probably do a little bit more of sit-down videos because it's our last week in Mexico and then we're going to quarantine for 2 weeks in Canada. So yeah, hope you enjoyed that content too.
Yep. So without further ado, let's get on with the video.
The first thing we learned after living 3 months in Mexico is Spanish, of course.
Trabajamos y viajamos al mismo tiempo.
Sí. Entonces es más fácil de decir que vivimos aquí.
Matt did a little bit of Spanish in high school and I also did 2 years of Spanish in university. So we already had a little bit of Spanish before coming here. But I think in 3 months, it's incredible where we were to where we went. The transformation is insane. We were even able to have dinner with 2 friends from Merida that only spoke Spanish. So we had a complete dinner, only Spanish, and we were able to understand pretty much everything they said. Sometimes we're searching for words or we're not sure how to say a certain sentence. But overall, I think our understanding of Spanish has improved so much in 3 months.
Yeah, definitely. Immersion definitely did the trick. As Bridget said, we already had a pretty good base of Spanish. But yeah, being immersed and having to speak Spanish with people there, even like in restaurants, we kind of forced waiters to speak Spanish to us, even though they wanted to speak English. And also, you know, everywhere we go, it's just we're in Mexico, right? So we had to use Spanish everywhere, which definitely helped.
Yeah, and we were always asking for Spanish menus in restaurants, or like we were trying to immerse ourselves as much as we could, because it was one of our goals by coming here. We wanted to learn Spanish really well to be able to speak fluently, and I think we reached it.
I think we did.
Yeah, we're not perfect, but I would say our level of Spanish went from intermediate to advanced, for sure. We can understand pretty much everything now. We just have to work a little bit more on our vocabulary to learn new words, because sometimes we still don't know like every Spanish words, of course. But yeah, this is the first thing we learned in Mexico.
So the second thing we've learned while traveling in Mexico for 3 months is how to live in organized chaos. Let's just say you ask for directions. Someone's going to give you a direction with full certainty, but then you get there and there's actually nothing that you look for. But then you ask someone else and they bring you somewhere else and it's still not the right spot. So after finding, because Google in Mexico is not great. There's a lot of missing streets, a lot of missing coffee shops and everything. And if you stay on the main streets, you'll probably find what you're looking for. But if you're going a little bit off the road, definitely it's not there, or it says it's there and it's actually nothing, just sand and yeah, nothing else. So yeah, definitely it was an adaptation from, you know, coming from North America, from Canada. Everything was built very square. There's very strict rules and like everything has to be done a certain way. And we have room for creativity in there, but still it's a very square world. And now it's just it was definitely a shock when we got here.
For example, when we were in Valladolid, we're looking to go to Coba, and then people told us, oh, there's going to be a Colectivo then to bring you to Tulum. If you haven't seen this vlog, it's pretty funny. We'll link it here. But yeah, so people told us, oh, you can go back in Colectivo. Okay, good. So we go there, and then we go to Coba. We're looking to go back to Tulum, but there's no Colectivo. We asked someone, oh yeah, there's a bus over there. You have to walk this way. So we walk this way, but then they told us,
there's no bus.
No, there's no bus. You have to take a taxi, but then the taxi is super expensive. So we're like, okay, what's the real thing? And thankfully,
we figured it out, but you can watch the video to find out. But it's just, you have to not trust the first opinion you get and kind of make yourself your own opinion, even though it's like a certain thing, like a direction, you kind of have to figure it out on your own.
Same for the roads. There's rules, there are rules probably, but I think people don't really follow them. So like if there's a stop, they might not stop. If they put their blinker on the right, they might turn left. So you know, you always have to stay like alert.
Yeah, like when we're in a taxi, it's funny because we don't have a stop, and let's say on the other side, the crossing side, they have a stop. The taxi's gonna stop even though there is no stop because someone is coming and they might not do it, right? So they just take extra precautions.
Yeah.
but also do crazy moves that we would never, ever see in Montreal or in Quebec in general. So.
Yeah, but in the end, we always figured things out, and we kind of like we've grown to love this side of Mexico, the organized chaos. I don't know, it feels good to not always be in a fixed structure all the time, like in Canada or the United States. So I think we're gonna miss this part of Mexico actually.
Yeah, definitely, yes.
The third thing we learned after living in Mexico for a few months is the rhythm of life here is really, really different from Canada. Everything here is a little bit more slower. And it's definitely an adaptation when we first arrived because we're used to everything being so efficient, productive. Everything has to be fast and right on the first try. But here, I don't know. I think it's because of the heat, but people
to the
just
defense, it does get pretty hot.
Yeah, it is really hot. So I get it that people will like walk slower and do things slower because it is so damn hot.
Yeah.
But yeah. It's good, I think, because we learn how to slow down. At first, we definitely had to adapt to this rhythm of life here, but now we feel pretty good about it because we feel less stressed out by things. We don't mind going at a slower pace and just waiting and being more patient because we're now used to this life here.
Yeah, but I think I'm still at the level that's higher than their level of patience. I mean, we're still from North America and we're used to efficiency and everything, and slowing down and calming down from that daily grind and daily stress. It definitely has been good to us, but also they were still too slow for my slow. So even though like sometimes in restaurants we have to get up and go get our waiter and ask him for some stuff, and something that if I would do that in Quebec or Montreal, it would be actually very rude.
Yeah.
But here, maybe it's rude, but I don't mind. And let's say I have a coffee and I'm waiting for my sugar, and it might never get to my table, right? So I have to get it, but it's part of the slow living.
At the same time, people will take the time to say hi to you.
Exactly.
Every time you walk on a street, pretty much, not everywhere in Mexico, but a lot of the time people will say like, hi, good afternoon, hey, how's it going? People will take the time to do that. So it's also, there's a good side. And
there is a good side.
Yeah, but definitely in a restaurant is where we notice it the most. Because people, like waiters, will talk to each other while you're waiting for something, and they will ask about their weekend. They will take time to, just
which is fine.
Yeah. So
but I'm hungry.
It can be a good and bad. But
yeah, there's definitely an up and down side. As much as the proactivity, efficiency, and fast-paced living has ups and downsides as well, and we can definitely see that. The third thing we learned while living in Mexico for 3 months is actually that if it's flashy, it's probably not worth it. You can find some very good organic shops, but there might be 10 times the price of a regular thing. So let's say you buy an organic apple in a vegan shop. It's probably going to cost you the same price as in Canada or the US. And if you go like 2 streets down to the local shops, it's a fraction of the price, and it looks better, and it's from here, and it's just, I don't know if apples grow here, I didn't make my research, but you can find more variety in different products at a fraction of the price if you shop in local shops. Right?
And also, people in Mexico in general are really friendly. Every time we would ask questions or just started talking with them, they would start, talking, being really friendly, and just this authentic side of Mexico you can only have if you go to local shops, local neighborhoods. The last thing we learned after living 3 months in Mexico is that Mexico is actually a really safe country. The crimes that happen here are usually local matters, and they don't include tourists. Of course, there's theft, and if you leave your things on the beach and you go swimming, maybe your things will get stolen, but this could happen anywhere in the world.
Exactly. They're not directly perpetrated or focused towards tourists, but there can be collateral damage, like any crime. But it's usually towards each other or between themselves. We were, the first time we were in Tulum, and within the same week, there was 3 murders. But then it's only drug dealers with drug dealers, and no one else was affected. So yes, there was police on the beach, and yes, we almost, we were very close. but it's still, we were very safe in that situation. It can get pretty stressful.
We found that Mexico is really big, you know, it's a big country. Some parts we felt a lot safer than others. For example, in Cancun, Playa del Carmen, and Tulum, the crimes are a little bit more often, especially related to drugs and cartels. Whereas in Oaxaca and Puerto Escondido, we felt really, really safe. I think most of the time in Oaxaca and those areas, there's like theft, but for murders and things like that, it's more right now what's happening, it's more on the East Coast. But overall, we always felt safe. I think you only have to take the normal precautions, the same as anywhere in the world. And you can get robbed in Italy or Spain as much as here. So it's really, we felt it was a lot safer than what the media made it to be.
If you look on the screen, we'll show you Canada's recommendations or what to do and what not for Mexico, and you'll see it's pretty dramatic, it's pretty intense, and it's actually not that bad. I mean, okay, yes, it does happen, but usually where the tourists are, where the rich people are, and where the border is, because there's drugs being passed, but I think that's in pretty much every country. So yeah, just again, talk to the locals, just make sure that you know the areas that you should avoid and the areas that you should go to, because that's the purpose of your trip.
Asking the local people, I think, is the best thing to do. Every time we arrived in a new city, we would ask either our waiter in the first restaurant we went to or the cab driver, are there any areas that we should avoid, what is safe, what is unsafe, and they would just told us right away. Usually they said like, oh, around here it's fine, but don't go there and there, or like don't walk at night in this neighborhood, you know, they will tell you, and I think it's the best thing to do to
in any
stay
city.
safe. Yeah.
It's like at home you know that there are some parts of town that you shouldn't go. And if not, it probably means that you live in a very small village. Yeah, I think it should be the first thing you do as soon as you arrive in the city, just to make sure that you're safe and you have the best trip ever.
Yeah, but overall, just do the same thing you would do anywhere else in the world. Don't walk out at night in like empty, creepy streets. Don't wear a lot of jewelry, or don't take your iPhone like this and
show off,
and
you know?
show off your money. You know, just do the basic stuff you would do anywhere, and I'm pretty sure that you will be fine in Mexico.
Yeah, definitely. Yes. Wrapping up, we really had a great experience in Mexico, and we're keen to come back as well. We have so many things that we haven't seen yet, and so many things that we love to see and would love to see again.
It was both our first time in Mexico, and we didn't really know what to expect, but so far we were pleased with what we saw. It's a country that is a lot more diverse than I first thought before coming here. There is a desert, a jungle, beach, forest, city, you know, everything, like every weather that you can think of, you will probably find it in Mexico.
Yeah, except maybe, snow.
Yeah, except snow, of course. It's also a bigger country than I first thought. I knew it was a big country, but I didn't think that there were so many different places to visit. And there are definitely parts of Mexico that we haven't been at all.
There's actually a lot of parts of Mexico that we have not been, and we can't wait to come back and see what we haven't seen. We have to go to Chichen Itza because it was closed right in front of us, so I have to see the video again. But yeah, it's just there's so many things that we have to see, and so many places that we've heard about that are magnificent. Thank you for watching our video. Thank you for following an adventure in Mexico, and stay tuned. Our adventure continues. It doesn't stop. Like, comment, and subscribe, and click on the notification bell if you'd like to see more of our videos. We also have Facebook and Instagram if you want to see daily stories and pictures and just be more in touch with what we actually do every day. Next video, we're going to talk to you about our project. Some of our Instagram followers kind of know what's going on, but it's still not clear. So yeah, we're going to have a full picture as well as us actually doing it and going through all of it. So stay tuned. We'll see you next week.
Bye guys!
Peace.